We have gathered a very diverse group of Norfolk Southern employees here today at McDonough, Georgia. One thing we really want to talk about is the family ties that bind us together, and that will be the family members that are also working here, but also the family ties that we build up amongst the working relationships with each other each and every day. I think you'll really enjoy the open conversation that we have here today. I want to welcome you all here. A great team we have here together this morning. And it's evident that we got a lot of different ages with a lot of different and diverse backgrounds in the transportation department. I say a lot of times, you know, you get to know your coworkers better than some of your family members know you. So there's a family right out here in Norfolk Southern. And can any of you all kind of go in a little bit of detail on that?
Sure, I can. Some of the best people that I've ever met in my life have been people that I've spent maybe 10 or 12 hours on an engine with. Before I got a job with NS, my father-in-law already worked for NS as a conductor. Now, when I go to his house, you know, we have a lot of interesting discussions, but I have this great tie with him.
Great. What about yourself?
Well, my father, he worked on the railroad for 39 years, you know. And,
what capacity?
He was an engineer. You know, I've trained with a lot of great people, and I've made a lot of great people. But there's a few that I've trained with on the engines that I really have admired and think a lot of. These guys, I consider that train me as part of my family. I look at them every day and I say, you know what, call me if you need anything.
Well, that's what we talk about. We're our families, you know, we're the people that we work with every day. You just see relationships that, you know, you have to have and trust with yard masters and crews and locals, and you know, you can trust if you're going to have a local go out there and, you know, if they say 12, it'll be 12 minutes, dispatcher. You can count on that. They'll, you know, you can run them in front of a hot shot because it's when they say 12 minutes, it'll be 12 minutes.
It's kind of a funny story. My dad works for the railroad, has for over 30 years. A lot of fun working with him. I'm sure my mom hates it now because I go over to their house and we'll just talk railroad and railroad lingo, and she won't know what we're talking about. She just go into another room.
And your engineer just retired today, right?
I know, yes.
And you sacrificed to come down here because you really wanted to be.
It was a tough decision to say goodbye to him the last day. It was a handshake, and it was a handshake from the heart. It was like, you know what, you've watched over me for the last 4 years, and we put our heads together and we made everything run as smooth as we possibly could.
I mean, and you develop these relationships that to me, they are really family-like relationships, and you get to know them so well, and you get to know their families, and it creates this bond.
Every time I give a track authority, there is a blue block on my screen, but then I have trains heading for these guys that are on the track, and their dads and their grandpas and their brothers and cousins, and I do everything I can do to protect them while they're out there, and you know, they want to work hard and they want to be able to go home to their families.
He would not move the engine until he saw the color of my eyes, and I said, okay, ahead, or gave him a hand signal. That was an unspoken rule, and you can develop this with any engineer on the railroad. This is just wasn't a common bond between him and I. This can be the first extra man that fills the job when I go back to work.
It's like an entire different family. Like, yeah, he's already my dad, but then it's like, it's also kind of, he's my brother too now because we're all brothers and sisters out there. So it's kind of cool.
All these different families are tied in together, and everyone knows everybody, and it really makes for these interesting, these stories and these ties that we have.
That's our culture, though. That's the way we live, you know, right or wrong, I'll look out for you. Because at the end of the day, I want to go home. You need to go home. And that's what family's about. We look out for each other.